Hey guys, Disload Magic here. Sorry in advance, I was going to make some overlay slides with all of the text from this video, but then I went on Legendary Mana's live stream for like ever, and now it's like 12:30. So can't be bothered, but I mean, most of you aren't looking at the screen anyway, so who cares? So a question arose, I think it was on Twitter, I don't remember what this conversation was, but since we found out that they discontinued Modern Masters and Eternal Masters, those products are no longer going to be around, they're no longer going to be printed, and everything will effectively be Eternal Masters in that there is no boundary. So they're not really going to be Eternal Masters because Eternal Masters specifically did not have modern staples in it. At least not mostly. They were purposely targeting Vintage and Legacy. So it was basically Vintage and Legacy Masters. It was barely even Commander Masters. It was really just those two. But they did say that every Master set from now on is going to be from, the entire 25 plus years of Magic. They could put any card in it. They're not going to target one format. So the format Master sets are no longer coming out. So the question arose, what are they going to call them? And there have been some really boring propositions. I'm barely even going to cover them. Just call it Masters and then the year number. Or Masters 1, Masters 2, Masters 3. Well, that's boring, and honestly, it would be like, oh, here's M5 or M10, M20, whatever. There's already sets called that, first of all, and you're going to catch up on them pretty quick. And secondly, core sets are back. So that would just be confusing. Like, oh, this is what is it, M19, the standard core set 2019. You don't want anything else to be just called M and then a number, whether it's the year or the series. That's just not a good idea. So I think we can just about rule that out. So it really actually is a pretty good question if you think about it. What are they going to name the future Masters? And we've got a couple different, options here. They could pull a From the Vault, which, by the way, From the Vault is another discontinued product. They are never making another From the Vault ever again. So if that's news to you, you missed a lot of videos on my channel. But anyway, old news. From the Vault, every single one described the cards that were in it. So Eternal was like, okay, Eternal format's cool. And then Modern was like, Modern, okay. Iconic was, okay, these cards are iconic. They're very just dictionary definition of the word iconic. So will they continue to make it describe the cards that are in it? And then what would they be called and what would they do? Like, what would the theme be? Because it would have to be like the theme. Like, it would be like Creature Masters or, oh my God, people have just been memeing this to death. Money Masters, where it's just valuable cards. Don't forget about the classic Land Masters. How would you even draft that, okay? It's just 10 fetch lands, 10 filters, 10 man lands. That's only 30 cards, but I'm sure they'd, Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, Strip Mine, Tectonic. But, how would you possibly draft that? You basically couldn't. But it would be hilarious, and I'd love to try. That would just be a 5-color man land, just free-for-all. It would be idiotic. Well, and spell lands, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad. It would be pretty bad, let's be honest, but it might not be too bad. And then, oh God, I hope they don't do this. Red Masters, Blue Masters, and all the cards are just blue. You would say, how would you draft that? Pretty damn easily is how you would draft that, but then it would just come down to, who opened the best mythic or rare, basically. Although, right now, if everybody drafted, blue from a normal set, you're ignoring the other ones, and yeah, it would be really narrow and everybody's decks would be similar. Not if there was 252 or whatever blue cards in it. I think it would actually be pretty different, but still the draft would be... It would be weird. It would either be way better or way worse, but it would be way different. Actually, let me know what you think of that. A colored Masters, where it's just one color. They could even call it Mono Masters, which I wouldn't. I would just call it Red Masters. Oh, FYI, let me just state this one for the record. If they make Mill Masters, I will buy 0 of it. I might actually quit the game forever. Nothing but mill cards, 250 some mill cards. I don't want anything to do with that. Spellmasters with no creatures, that would be kind of funny but kind of stupid. You'd just burn out and then everybody would top deck and somebody might win eventually. And red would just win. Oh, blue would just piss people off. I don't think they could do that. So now instead of speculating on names, we're really speculating on themes. But one of the options is they could name the set after what's in it, primarily. The Masters 25 Anniversary Edition, that's just, that doesn't really describe what's in it. It's just, this is what it is, this is what we're naming it. So that's kind of the exception. So if you think about it, we only have 4 examples. Eternal Masters, Iconic Masters, Masters 25. I think I counted them wrong because I can't think of a 4th one. I legit feel like there was another one and I can't think of it. It probably doesn't exist and they just released so many damn master sets and conspiracy and crap, I just don't even care. Well, then they released EMA twice, so I don't even know anymore. I'm probably thinking of MM3, but that doesn't count. So will they name them sequentially? Will it be after the year? Will it be after the cards that are in it? Or, and let me propose this really stupid idea that they definitely won't do, and this is where it stops being a serious video, just FYI. Will they do what I did and just type the word iconic into a thesaurus? Are you guys ready for this video to get really stupid? And also, are you ready for epochal masters? That's right, like the word epoch with AL on it. I did not know that that was actually a word. It's cards that would describe an epoch, which, I mean, an epoch is what, like thousands of years or something? So, yeah. Not very relevant. I mean, they could do it. Epochal masters would sound cool. It's kind of weird to say. It's kind of awkward. Like, epochal. It's odd. But archetypal, which I take issue with a lot of these. I think there just aren't very many words that mean something close to iconic, because archetypal pretty much means something different than iconic. But I mean, technically, if the future sets have a little bit of a theme, or like a mechanic, it would be archetypal masters. It's just like they'd all be archetypal masters. But then again, they could name them all archetypal masters. I'm sick of saying it already. Maybe that wouldn't even get out of the board meeting about what to name it. Now this one, let's just say iconic has different definitions. Exemplary masters. What is just good cards as opposed to the other sets, which were crap cards? They cannot, with a straight face, name it exemplary masters and have the cards curling. You can't do that. That's too on the head. People would be calling them hypocrites for like a month. Okay, here's the best one so far. You ready for this? Paradigmatic masters. It's paradigm with matic added to it. This is why I should be making slides, but it really does take quite a while to edit it that way. Paradigmatic masters. It's so confusing and complex and an obscure word that nobody uses that it would almost attract attention and sound kind of fancy. I think that's the best one so far. Until we get to quintessential masters. Okay, let me just make a little aside about the word quintessential. I hate the word and I hate people that use it because it means nothing. It almost implies stupidity. What is the 5 part of quintessential, you may be asking? Oh, you're in for a fun ride if you didn't know. It refers to the 5th element of nature that makes up all matter and energy in the universe. So guess how far back we're going to this one? The medieval age, when they thought that literally everything was made out of air, fire, earth, and water, and then a 5th element that they couldn't name because some stuff didn't fit with that. Which I might be mixing that up with a little bit of like ancient Roman too, because I think they were a little bit smarter than that in the medieval ages, but not much. But yeah, you're like, this is quintessential. It is as essential as the 5th unnamed element that makes up the universe, which it turns out is not a thing at all. It didn't exist and those people were idiots back then. So to call something quintessential, honestly, it just makes you sound stupid. You're like referring to like science from 500 years ago. It's sad. Stop using that word. That said, would Wizards of the Coast do it? Hell yeah. I'm surprised we don't already have quintessential masters. There's 5 colors. There's your quint. In fact, it could be nothing but mono cards and they could just do no mix cards. That's a theme, even though it's not a theme. I mean, it's a parameter. It's a limiting factor. Calling it a theme is a little generous. So they get less and less related as we go here, but recognizable masters, that's probably my new favorite because that is just so bad of a name that it would almost be like good. Like they could do it as a joke. Ooh, these cards are recognizable. Honestly, that's probably the closest to the word iconic in the way that they were using it. Here's one that's not even on the list that I just thought of. Noteworthy masters. It's noteworthy cards, which is literally the same thing as iconic, pretty much, and recognizable. All right, classical masters. I mean, that would almost like imply that it was vintage and legacy, because like classical kind of implies old. There's also historic masters. Both not terrible naming, but they would really strongly like have an implication to them. And remember, they just added a new keyword, or not keyword, a game term to the game, historic. So they could do historic masters. Like, I literally wrote the script for this thing, or did the notes. It's not a script, God, can you tell? I did that before they, I'd say announced, but leaked the term historic from Dominaria. So historic masters really could be a thing. And it would be, what did they say? Enchantments, lands, and legendaries or something like that? I don't remember. It'd be kind of dumb. I don't know. Then we've got Ideal Masters, which I'm pretty sure is the people who ran the Soul Gem farming thing from that expansion to Skyrim. I'm old. It's called an expansion pack, not DLC. I mean, Ideal Masters, it's not the worst name I've ever heard. It's at least, like, open-ended and kind of sounds nice, but it just... After Skyrim, you just can't do it. Okay, I think we found a new best one, and by best one, I mean worst one. Important Masters. I love that one. Do you think that was on the drawing board before they settled on Iconic? They said, Important Masters. It's cards that are important. Now, we can't just call them important, Steve. Why not? Because Iconic sounds better. Okay. Dude, Steve, seriously, like, why is he even in the meeting? Would you buy it if it was called Important Masters? Or would that just be like they've ran out of names and now that's what it's called? Which honestly, if they try to name them all differently, that's probably where they're going to end up. Oh, here's one. I don't think this is even accurate. Prototypical Masters. Doesn't that mean like related to a prototype? Like it's an experimental set? That wouldn't be what you call a reprint set. I don't know. I don't know what the thesaurus was thinking with that one. Unless it's like a secondary definition that's like a synonym to archetypal. I don't know. Representative Masters. Maybe. I mean, it doesn't sound as bad as I thought it would. God, am I even going to say this one? Seminal Masters, which means highly original in influencing the development of future sets. So, like, retroactively, these were seminal cards. There's a second definition there, and yes, it's exactly what you think it is. I feel like they would maybe not name it that. Traditional Masters... Maybe. I mean, are there really traditions? I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great. And then this one. Okay. This one I saved for last because it's pretty good, actually. It's not great because it almost has like a dual meaning, but it's also not bad. And it's one of those words where just the pure, like, subconscious or semi-conscious connotation with the word is so positive that the marketing and branding people would like it. Supreme Masters. I don't know, you're probably thinking, well, like the Supreme Kais from Dragon Ball Z, like that's where my brain went. But then I thought, Supreme Masters, like that, you know, Supreme Pizza, oh, it has a bunch of stuff in it. Supreme whatever, Supreme Quality. The clothing brand called Supreme. That is a bit of a connotation that you're a douchebag. Kind of like Yeezys. You wear those and just anybody with a brain loses all respect for you. By the way, no joke. Speaking of Yeezys, kind of, but not really. I was out playing Pokemon Go, and I spotted the weirdest thing. Me and Lucky were out there. He can vouch for this. There's some little kid, okay, a male-type person. I didn't ask him how he identified or what his pronouns were, but he appeared to be a male. And he was skateboarding in the no skateboarding zone, of course, naturally, like everybody else does, and playing Pokemon Go, and he was wearing Uggs. Yeah, those ugly suede leather boots. He was wearing Uggs. I didn't know those came in men's sizes, although kids' sizes, I don't know. Honestly, he could fit in women's sizes. They're probably his sisters. I don't know what he was thinking. It wasn't even cold out. Like, he was wearing some other weird crap too, honestly, like nothing matched. There was a whole lot going on there. Maybe that's a thing, but it seems a little young to be a hipster. I mean, like a hipster without a beard, that's why like just nobody bothers till they're like 20. And plus, you work like one soul-crushing crap job and you're just like, screw society. Like at that point, I get it. But like a 16-year-old like listening to a vinyl record, just piss off with that. That's just, come on. But back to the rather unusual kid. Who even wears Uggs at this point after the entire internet has made fun of them? Well, then you can expand it to, okay, I have an answer for you, but what male type person wears Uggs? It's such a like cliche rich white girl thing that like I don't think even a gay guy would wear Uggs. Like that's where they cut it off. That's where the line is. Hey, maybe they should call the next set Ugg Masters. That would be great. So honestly, Supreme Masters is probably not bad. But it's like, what does it specifically describe? What does it really mean? Like, yeah, it sounds nice and it implies value and just positive whatever, but like, what does it really mean? Oh, by the way, I missed one. Emblematic. Okay, like, nobody even knows what that means. Also, I mean, here's the other one. Magic Masters. You know, just to get the two M's there. And then they could even call it MM4 and start with that as the set symbol. Or like MM... Well, it wouldn't be the year because it has to be 3 digits. I don't know, it still fixes a lot of like practical stuff. Like what would you really name it, call it, and refer to it as? And it's just generic. It's the safe choice. So they could call it just Masters, but I feel like that's confusing. I feel like Magic Masters is like redundant because you already know it's Magic the Gathering and like the Magic logo is on it, and then it would have to say Magic again below it. It's still probably a better choice than like, ooh, Mystical Masters. These are the Mystic boxes. Ooh. That's just too JRPG for me. It's just too like MMO, dude. I can't do Mystic. I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't respect it. So, do you have a suggestion for what they should name the Masters? Be it something comically bad, just horrifically bad, or an actually good suggestion? If it's in between, don't bother. But if you have one of the two, leave it down in the comment section. And if you're brave enough, scroll down there and read what other people wrote. I'm sure it won't be a complete catastrophe. Oh my god, Cataclysmic Masters, Catastrophic Masters. It could be like, what is that, From the Vault, like Destruction or whatever it was called? Or no, it was Annihilation. So they could do Annihilation Masters. That's why, honestly, I think they should just not name it one thing and just have it be named after kind of what's in it. It would be really constraining, or it could just be like, oh, 50 cards are on the theme, and the other ones we just kind of picked out. Like, even creatures could be, you know, monster masters, but then it could only be like monstrous beastly creatures and not like human creatures. Because, I mean, you could throw in Tarmogoyf and this and that, Wormcoil Engine, just don't throw in any humans or humanoids. It's, you know, there you go. Like, that's not that big of a constraint. And then call it Monster Masters, which would actually be pretty cool. So my official vote and suggestion goes for name it after what's in it and just keep going with that. But knowing Wizards, they'll probably just call it Iconic Masters 2 and hope that you buy it and forget what happened to the first one, which will never happen. But then again, keep in mind, they know that as long as they sell these boxes to Sports and More, and Sports and More puts them out on the market for $159, there is no such thing as a positive EV. Or a good EV, I should say. Moving them at that price, it cannot happen. Can't be done. So don't forget to remind Wizards on social media to shut down Sports and More and cut them off. I have pretty unequivocal evidence from multiple sources that Wizards themselves are not running Sports and More. I got a little history on how they came about and when they were a little bit looser with how they operated, and we're going to have some interesting videos, and by we, I mean we. Literally we. It is me and multiple people, and it's more people than you think. Yes, it's a coordinated assault, and it's not going to be pretty. So if you want to watch the fireworks, hit that subscribe button. And Wizards, and the owners of Sports and More, you know that movie Drag Me to Hell? This is going to be worse. You ruined the market, you cost me thousands of dollars, and now there's going to be some backlash. So do your part, mention Sports and More and how they need to be shut down or stopped one way or another every time Wizards just like does anything. Every time they blink, they should be thinking about it. And hopefully that'll get something done about it in a more polite method than what me and some friends are going for. Once again, and I cannot stress this enough, nothing illegal. Just going to be a bit of an interference and PR campaign, but it ain't going to be pretty. But for now, let's give Wizards a chance to correct this on their own and look like the good guys for once, because one way or another we're tearing their company down. So thanks for watching this video for now, and I will see you guys next Masters set. And don't say they should name it Desolator Masters, that's the easy joke. I mean, come on.